Good afternoon, Eli. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. Let me introduce myself. I'm Nicholas Miklaski. I'm a quality product engineering lead, and I will interview you for this powertrain quality engineering role. The format will be in a STARS format. Do you have any questions about the format?
Nope, I don't think so.
All right. I reviewed your resume and everything looks outstanding. Just have a few questions about it. So I see you graduated from Eastern in 2021, and you're currently in a master's program for engineering management.
That is correct.
Gotcha. And then let me just touch base on your past work experiences. I see you, was it an internship for Bosch Automotive in 2019?
That is correct.
Could you just give me a quick, like, 30-second recap on kind of what you did?
Yeah, so I guess so I was in the warranty department. I a the most part of the summer I did a lot of stuff in SAP. When I went in there, I think they were the second worst plant in the world based off their numbers, which wasn't actually accurate because they just switched over to the SAP system from their old system. So a lot of what I did was, help train engineers on how to use that SAP system, and also actually, help them in actual warranty claims, talking to customers like GM and Ford about specific warranty claims. And I also did some hands-on work with some actual steering gears to, learn how they were made, learn how they were assembled, disassembled, kind of tested, etc. But yeah, I mean, the SAP process is really just was, training engineers how to work, closing out open SAP items that, showed up as were non-closed, but they were actually closed. So just a lot of stuff like that.
Perfect. So, it sounds like you had some good experiences. All right. And I see you currently worked at Rolls-Royce North America. Could you
Yes,
also
sir.
give me just a quick little recap on what you do there?
Yep. So I started there in August of 2022, uh, right after I graduated college. Well, I started my master's program for the fifth year of college. But yeah, August 2022, and my first program I was on there eventually did get lots of funding from Rolls-Royce, but that program was focusing on the turbine aspect of the turbine airplane engine, and it was mostly, preliminary design phases of an existing design. Well, sorry, a new design where a lot of work was done to, create a plan for future production for that unit. So whether it was DFX sessions, design for manufacturer, design for assembly, with internal manufacturers like Rolls-Royce's plant, or talking to external manufacturers, there was a lot of, DFX sessions going on there. And that was only for a couple months though, and then I moved to the R&T section of Rolls-Royce, where I worked on a lot of one-off demonstrators. So this is, build one of these things to test for the government to see if it's feasible to go into production down the line. So a lot of similar sessions, DFX sessions internally, externally, working with supply chain to make sure that this one part can be made, it can be made cheaply, and you know we're not setting up for production, but we still have to, ensure that a good part's going to come in the door, and lead to a successful demonstrator. So,
All right. Perfect. Some great experiences again. All right, we will get started with the format. The first one we will do is driving for results. Can you tell me about a project that you had many obstacles to success, and what do you do to overcome these obstacles?
yeah. So, additionally, in R&T, I also help. I am leading a project right now, internally funded project that is focused on the ALM manufacturing, so additive layer manufacturing of a compressor case. And this is more of like a learning trial, but it's something that I was tasked to do, and it's not something that, my role typically does, I would say. So there's been a lot of obstacles there, just, recruiting engineers, recruiting modelers, learning the our systems and the intricacies of our Rolls-Royce systems. That's not something that I've had to do or had to learn about previously. So, like I said, there was a lot of obstacles to get across in order to actually recruit people, make sure that charge codes are set up, pay them, write EPAs, write POs, stuff like that. So I really just leaned on a lot of my coworkers who, have done that jobs, who I've worked with closely that do that for a living. I've also So, there's some requirements. I've had a lot of discussions saying, okay, is this really needed for the scope of this project? So I think communication there has been my biggest thing is, leaning on my coworkers who have that experience, who have done this in the past, and communicating any, risks or opportunities for improvement so far. So
So you said basically your best results was you learned good communication skills out of this?
correct, yeah, yeah.
Gotcha.
The
All right.
importance of, I guess, other people's opinions and the importance of other people's experience and leaning on their
Go to
previous experience.
innovation. Can you tell me about a problem you were responsible for solving that you knew required a unique situation?
Yeah, honestly, I would say the same example. Yeah, I mean, the ALM manufacturing this compressor case, there's a lot more to it than I'm allowed to say,
Yeah.
but it is very unique and it's something that people, at Rolls-Royce have not done before, hence the, trial study. So, excuse me. Yeah, I mean, like I said, I think it's just really, really big to communicate, any opportunities or areas of improvement that I guess I would say it's good to challenge some areas of projects that may not make sense for the end goal. So I guess really just taking a step back, thinking about what we need to accomplish with this trial, with this problem, what this problem's actually, doing, and then having some discussions about whether or not it's needed. Does that make sense?
Yes, that does make sense. A lot going
Okay.
on right there with the
Yeah,
compressor case.
yeah.
So, all right. So let me write this down. I think we're good for innovation. Let me go to the next one will be a customer focus. Describe some customer focused activities you've taken or policies you've implemented that have produced positive business results. Give me a specific example.
Okay. Yeah, so I guess working my role now, I mean, our end customer is the government, so there's a lot of, intricacies when it comes to communicating with the government, and do go through a lot of specific people for that. But so I'm going to give an example um, of me interacting with one of my suppliers. So I guess in my role, I am kind of the technical contact right now for supply chain, so helping with manufacturability and then also communicating with suppliers in the supply chain. So I guess taking a step back here, I think the project I'm working on now is very non-aerospace, I would say, and Rolls-Royce is an aerospace company. So there's been a lot of mismatching between what we want to build and what we actually need to build. So I think a lot of our supply chain is pushing back, saying, okay, this is definitely aerospace grade, design when it doesn't need to be for like a shipping container or, a frame or something like that. So um, I think I've done a good job at my job right now. Just helping us all take a step back and say, okay, here's what the customer actually wants. They don't need this thing to, whether it be fly, whether it be actually, flight tests or ground-based demonstrators, et cetera. They don't need this thing to, have our usual quality standards and our usual processes and tolerance and et cetera. So I think helping designers take a step back and saying, okay, here are the critical features of this part. That's what we need to focus on. We don't need to, make everything critical when everything is not critical. So just communicating that to suppliers and doing it in a way that, we're all on the same team together. We're all doing the same things to try to get to the same end goals.
Gotcha. So you're
So
big.
just helping everyone
Your
take a step back and seeing that,
so your main thing was just focusing on the critical areas and kind of understanding what's important, what's not.
correct, yeah. Because
Take it
as you
or
can probably imagine, aerospace tolerances aren't cheap usually.
yeah, no, understandable. So all right, that looks like that. We'll complete that one. Number four is coaching. From time to time, we all end up working with a peer that is not doing a good job. Tell me about a time that has happened to you.
Okay. Yeah, so I work with our PPMs, which is a procurement program manager. So basically the buyers for my division. Um, and we recently had one that came over 4 or 5 months ago new to the team, and she was taking a little longer than expected to get up to speed and, to start running these supplier engagement sessions and communicating with suppliers. So I really think I've done a good job at, leading by example. So instead of saying like, you need to do this, you need to do this, I think there's a lot of value in, showing what, I would do in that situation, how I would lead those supplier engagement sessions and weekly meetings and et cetera. And I think she's seen that and done a good job at kind of incorporating that into her daily routine and kind of just gaining confidence in the background, I guess, seeing how it's done, gaining confidence to be able to do it herself.
Gotcha. So as a result, you think your leading really helped her
Yeah,
take the next
yeah.
step?
I think leading by example is the
Is key there.
ultimate answer. Yeah.
Gotcha. Coaching. The last one is building trust. So let's go. Interacting with others can be a challenging at times. Tell me about a time you had difficulty getting along with a coworker or someone from a different department.
Okay. So one of our project managers on my current project is a little, lack of better words, I would say aggressive. And I mean that's obviously needed at some points, but I think sometimes it is taken a little too far. And so yeah, a couple of times when our opinions have clashed, there's been a couple of, aggressive instances, I would say, from the other party. But I think just taking a step back, staying curious on why, why they're acting that way, what's going through their head, and then also just talking to them about, okay, here's what I said, here's why I said this. Please, enlighten me on why you took that reaction to it. And I think we've talked a couple times about that and explained, both of our situations, and we came out the other side, still working well together and understanding each other more. So just getting to know each other, getting to know your coworkers, and understanding why they react, why they react, and just staying curious on that is what I would say.
So basically, just having kind of one-on-ones with them, just understanding each other's points on where you're coming from.
Yep. Yep. And I
Um,
think just creating, personal relationships with people helps a lot with that as well. Makes it
gotcha.
a lot easier.
Yeah, I do feel once you get personal, it gets a little tricky sometimes. So, but understanding each other really helps build some trust.
Mhm.
So that is the last interview question. Um, like this. So the position I was talking about was for the powertrain quality role. It's with Toyota. Do you have any questions for me?
Um, I think, yeah, I mean, I think with me being, pretty pretty recently out of college, I think just questions on, opportunities for growth in the company.
You said, are there opportunities to grow?
Correct. Yeah.
Yes. So this is just a basic engineering role, and then there's manager roles on top of that, and then that keeps going up the chain depending on quality manager, department quality manager. So depending on where you would like to see yourself the next couple of years, there is progression that is possible. So there is advancement opportunities.
Okay. Nice.
Anything else?
Um, I don't think so. I think I'm good.
The only thing I want to say is thanks for your time. Is your email and phone number correct on your resume, just for
That's
contact?
yep. Yes, sir.
All right, so just let me and my team evaluate the interview, and I'll get back to you in a couple weeks.
All right. Sounds good. Thanks, Nick.
All right, thanks, Eli.
Have a good one.
You too.